Hi there, thank you for joining me on the Passionative podcast, where we talk about following your passion, creativity, and doing what you love. And today I have Adrienn, who is a visual artist, a digital artist, with me for an interview, and we're gonna talk about her art and how she got started on her journey of being a digital artist and what she thinks about honesty in art and finding your own voice. So, hi Adrienn, how are you today?
Hi, I am fine. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's nice to talk to you about my journey.
It's good to have you here. So, I'll just get right down to the questions. So, just to begin with, give me some background. How did you start on your journey as an artist? Have you always been into art or did you start later on in life?
I have been started to draw very early. I think, as far as I remember, it was in kindergarten when I was already drawing plants and flowers. That's when I think this all started.
Okay.
And later, I continued to draw, especially in high school. I started to paint landscapes. And later, a bit later, I have discovered digital art, and I got very interested in because I saw all those beautiful fantasy artworks, and they really catch my eye, and I wanted to do the same.
Okay.
And that's how all of this started.
Okay. So, when you would have started drawing on paper, then you would have to teach yourself the software to work with to work on your visual and digital art, right?
Yes. First it was only paper with pencil, or I have used watercolor for my landscapes. And then later, I really like the Japanese anime series,
Yes.
and I saw at the time Sailor Moon was a
Okay.
favorite for me, and I tried to draw the characters from the show on paper.
Okay.
And that's when the internet started, and I saw that other people were drawing digitally. So, I did a search how they do it, and then I got interested, and yes, I self teached myself how to draw digitally, how to draw and paint.
Okay. So basically, you found something that you liked and then tried it in the way that you knew, that is on paper first, and then you figured out, okay, it's better to do it in the way that other people are doing it, and then you found your voice there.
Well, I was drawing what I was interested in, characters especially.
Okay.
And I have been reading many tutorial books and watching videos later to teach myself, or other were using colors, for example. And it takes practice, lots of practice.
Yes, obviously.
You
Okay.
you need to do that.
Very true. That's right. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about the artistic style that you use because originally, when I found your website and your post on Medium, I was looking at this video that you did about finding your own voice, and something you
Yes.
said in there that really struck a chord with me was that you said that your voice is somewhere in there in you, your artistic style is there in you, and you just have to find it, and that is something that can only happen with time.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
tell me about that. How do you go from drawing something that you get inspired from and just copy to converting it or turning it into your own style? How does that happen? What's the process for you?
So basically, the style is in you. That means that you have personal characteristic, and that's always with you. And when you draw and paint, these characteristics will get into your own artwork, especially when you draw from your head, or when you draw from life. It works also if you draw from life, because how you make the lines, for example, it's different from people to people, from person to person, because Some people use the pencil more gently and make a softer line, more
Okay.
curved lines, or some people draw more edgier lines. This is something that you don't learn. You actually, when you draw and practice, it will just happen naturally.
Okay. So it just happens to be just that's just the way you draw. That's what you mean.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and if you follow your interest, that's the other side
Right.
of this. That if you follow your interest, that's very unique to yourself. You
Okay.
know, it's good to know what you like in life, what are you interested in, because many artists, as far as I have seen, they like to copy a bit each other, so their works is
Hmm.
quite similar. But if they ask themselves, what do I really like? Maybe I like to draw horses or armors or shoes for somebody who knows. And if you start to draw these things, then it will be very unique, especially if you draw it, from your way, how you see that thing or that animal. And that's why it's good to practice drawing from life,
Okay.
not looking at other people's artwork at that moment, just looking at real life and trying your how you will draw it.
Okay, that's interesting because that is quite similar to what I think is that you have to be honest in your art itself. Like whatever you are creating, it could be like for example, in your case, it would be visual art. In my case, it would be songs that I write. And I find
Mm-hmm.
that if I try to write a particular kind of song that I don't really relate with, then even though I know how to write that song, it does not feel me. It does not feel that that's me in that song. So
Mm-hmm.
what I try to do is as I work on my songs, I make sure that I'm, even though if I'm inspired by somebody, I still try, at least try really hard to be me in that song, and I try to communicate that through the song that okay, this is what I like and this is what I want to share with the world.
Yes, that's so true. I feel the same. For example, I had a commission work before and someone asked a more darker picture. And, I like painting colors, bright, vibrant colors,
Okay.
colorful works. And it felt so strange, that that I painted those dark values and dark colors, and I knew that that's not my style, not my way of doing painting. And
Okay.
well, as you do these, as you create more artworks, you will find what you like and what is not you. And I think
Right.
that's how you can stay true to yourself,
Right.
by realizing what you like actually to draw and what is it that you don't like and what you don't resonate with.
True. It's a good thing that it was commission work because at even if you hated
Yes.
it, it was good in some way for you.
I wouldn't accept something that I would hate, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't
not
do
exactly.
something that
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
I was interested
Hmm.
how I could do that kind of work, and that's why I
Hmm.
accepted it. It was a challenge to see
Huh.
what will come out of it, and at the end, I realized that I like to paint with more colors.
Okay.
That's what I learned from it.
No, that's it's good actually challenging yourself like that. I do that with some of my friends. They make short films and stuff like that, and they
Hmm.
keep asking that I want some sort of a poem to go there or lyrics to go there. So just for the challenge that see this is the situation, can I write that without being actually being in that situation? So it's a nice challenge, and it also reinforces the fact that you have to do what you really like and what you really feel and resonate with, like you said.
Yes.
It's very true. So what's been the biggest struggle with doing your art? My biggest struggle, if I could say first, was that
Yes.
I just got stuck with like you said, you started way back in kindergarten, which is when also when I started with my music, and I got stuck in this whole, that same pressure that people have, like you have to pay the bills and you have to get a job and go through that whole, growing up process. And what happened was I got sidetracked with my music, and then I got back to it right now at 28 years old, which is quite, I could have been there at 15, but it took me a long time to be here. What has been your biggest struggle with doing your art? What's the biggest struggle for you?
The biggest struggle for me was not doing my art, actually,
Okay.
and at the time I was still at college, and I had plenty of time to do it, but I wasn't sure, what I wanted to do with my life.
Right.
And as soon as I got a job, I realized after 1 or 2 years that it wasn't for me, and I wanted to do something different. And that's when I returned back to art, and I started to still question myself if this is what I really want to do, or is there something else. And I have many interests,
Yeah.
not just painting digitally. I like to paint traditionally as well, and I also like making jewelry. Needle felting is something I really like,
Okay.
and making videos as well. So there are a lot of things I am interested in, and it's a bit challenging, to keep yourself to only one
Thing.
passion
Yes.
project.
Yes. In fact, I think it's something that artistic people have in common, that a lot of things interest them, and it's hard to choose which one is the biggest interest, because sometimes one thing will be, like for example, I'm into writing stuff and I like writing in general. So I will read a lot of books and then write my ideas down and do that. So it's hard. Sometimes it gets really hard to pick. Sometimes it's hard to pick between my music and this podcast as well, because I like sharing what I'm learning, but I have to be careful that I don't leave my music altogether just to be creating the podcast itself, and vice versa. So I think this thing that a lot of interests are there and it's hard to choose. This is something common that I've found in a lot of artists. Have you seen that yourself?
Yes, I've seen that as well. And how did you solve, actually, that you needed to pay the bills?
I've never had a job, but I started freelancing with my writing way back in the day when I was 18 or 19. So from there, I kept getting clients, and then more clients, and then even more clients. And so it was kind of a business where I had some people working for me. I was working myself, but it was still as good as a job, because as long as you don't have a proper product that you can sell, and you only have your writing that you can give to people, then it becomes a constant, okay, there's a deadline, you have to submit stuff. And then, but yeah, it did work out well, and I do like it. But then now what I've started to do is that now that the major bills of my life have been paid, now I'm trying to go back to what I love doing, which is music, and then this podcast as well.
That's cool. And how much time do you spend on creating music?
Oh, that's well, it's really hard to say that, okay, I can spend 2 hours on this. But yeah, I try to take out at least an hour or two each day to just make sure I'm in touch with the music. And then there are weekends where I go into the recording studio. I work with my music producer to help me come up with the whole recording. I'm currently working on a couple of songs that I want to release all together. So the lyrics are there, the general idea is there, I just need to complete them. So it's a process, as you know, just like a painting, it just takes its own time.
Yes, you need to work on it, actually.
Yeah, exactly, and it's fun. The good thing is that it's fun now that the good thing, one thing that I've noticed is that when you don't have to worry about the bills or something, then you can work on your art with much more freedom. You can just work on it for working on it, no other reason there.
Yes. Yes, it's much more easier
Easier, yeah.
if you are already secured by
Yeah.
financially.
Yeah, although it's I wouldn't still say I'm very secure, but it's just the same thing. When your basic needs are being met, you have a little bit more freedom than when your basic needs are not being met,
Yes.
right? So, and of course, if the art starts paying for life, then that's the most ideal situation.
Yes.
I also saw that you offer coaching on your website.
Oh,
So
yes.
so I saw that, and I was wondering. One thing I know that it is fun to be able to talk to other people. That's why I had started the podcast. And how is that going? If you want to tell more about what you offer students, and so whoever is hearing the podcast would benefit from you, and how can they use it? Yeah.
Oh, yes. What I am offering is actually digital accountability coaching. It's
Okay.
for people creative artists, who want to work on their artworks, but they see many challenges and they are not progressing. And as far as I have seen and experienced myself, I also had a coach before, many times before.
Okay.
And, I was struggling, as I said before, that I was not creating art so regularly. And I wanted to change this, and I wanted to create more things like writing articles, making the videos. And the coach really helped me, guided me in the first month to really put myself there and be consistent, creating and putting the work outside to the internet. That's what I would like to help other
Okay.
artists with, and to talk about the challenges they face when they are creating their works.
Right. That's good. That's a good thing to do for somebody. I think it's very powerful when somebody has a mentor, and it makes the journey easier for them. So it's a good thing that you're doing. And if somebody wanted to find you, how can they find your coaching?
Yes, they can find it on my website. It's called adrienn.com.
Okay. Okay, that's
But I will send you the correct
no, that's okay.
URL.
That's okay. I'll also have the link in the description of the podcast, so don't worry. People will easily
Thank you.
reach there. Yeah. Okay, so I think we've covered some good stuff here. It was great talking to you, Adrienne. Hope you had a good time as well.
Yes, it was very good to talk with you. And
Yeah.
thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Passionative podcast. I'm always happy to hear from you about your passion, your struggles, and your challenges. Simply go to Passionative.co and let's get talking. This is your host Sagar Mehta signing off. Stay awesome.